Alright, so this Knife Thoughts video is going to be on these knives, and these are all three versions of the 2020 run of number 85 Crownlifters from Great Eastern Cutlery. And I did get all three of these because I wanted to check out all three of the versions. They have done 85 Crownlifters before in the past. I didn't get one of those, so I wanted to check out all the versions, and here they are. So first of all, the 85 pattern is a teardrop pattern. And what that means is it's a smaller rounded end here at the top bolster and then a pointed or teardrop shaped bottom bolster. And it does have this teardrop shape throughout where it widens here towards the bottom and then kind of slenders out towards the top. So it's a teardrop pattern. It is a jack style knife, meaning that both blades or both tools come out of one pivot, and it has what's often called a fat spear for the main blade, and then it has the crown lifter or cap lifter for the secondary blade. So this is a bottle opener and then a screwdriver. And one cool thing about these knives is, as you can see, they have a pretty unique shield. So this is a bottle shield, and apparently the engineer at GEC, Randy, found the oldest bottle that he could and kind of patterned this shield after that. So it's kind of like a fat Coke bottle here. It's not a Coke bottle pattern, but the shield is kind of patterned after a fat Coke bottle. And I think it fits well. Some people have said, oh, why wouldn't you put a Coke bottle shield on a Coke bottle knife? But it's a crown lifter knife, so you have to use a bottle opener to open an old style, bottle of pop. So I do like this shield. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty unique. It's not something that GEC has done in the past, so it is new for this run of knives, and I think it fits really well. Now the three different versions here, as you can see, are natural canvas micarta, dead skunk acrylic, and cherry natural smooth bone. So they've been doing a lot of micarta recently for the runs in the past few runs, and this micarta looks really nice. It looks a little different than some of the other recent natural micarta in that a lot of these had this darker line down the center and then a lighter, kind of streaks on the side. And I think it looks really nice. It gives it a really classic look, and I do like the look of this micarta as micarta goes. You can see the bolsters on this one are kind of satin. They're not exactly polished as some GEC bolsters are. And then the dead skunk acrylic is an acrylic that GEC has done several times. They've done a bunch of different patterns with this acrylic, but this seems to be a little bit different of a version. I haven't had any dead skunk acrylic knives before, so that was one thing I was excited about on this run. I have seen them in person, and if I recall correctly, I think there's a little bit more sparkliness to this version of the dead skunk acrylic. You can see there's some like sparkles in the white areas, and you can see them especially well around the black outlining. So I'll give you a kind of good look at that here. Sparkle in the white areas, especially where that black is. You can see it really well there. And there's also, I think, a little bit more white in these than in some of the past runs. Another thing is that there seems to be more straight lines in these than in, again, some of the past runs. To be honest, I didn't even notice that this had these two straight lines until right now, because I was looking at it and saw these cool kind of patterns here, and didn't notice those straight lines. But they do tend to have or have seemed to have more straight lines than the dead skunk acrylic I've seen on previous runs of knives, and that's something people have mentioned, that not everyone liked that it has these straighter lines. But like I said, I didn't even notice it till right now, so it's something you might not think is a big deal. To me, not a huge deal. Still pretty cool looking. And then the last one here is cherry natural smooth bone, and as far as I know, this is the first time they've used this type of handle material, or at least something called this specifically. They of course have done natural bones and smooth bones and red bones several times, but I think this is the first time that that's all been combined together, and I really like the look of this. It's got a nice variation in color because of the naturalness of the bone, and that means that it's not completely smoothed out. It is smooth, it is polished. It's not like muscle bone where there's big, valleys and stuff like that, but it's not completely polished flat. It does have some natural character and changes in thickness to it, as you can see from this back shot here. But because of that, it does have some variation in the depth of the red. It's nice and dark here, lighter around the edge where they polished it to haft the bolsters. And real quick, that's something that just came up on the Great Eastern Cutlery Club Facebook page, is that someone said that a knife had been polished or restored because there was lighter areas towards the bolsters. That's not the case. A lot of GEC, especially bone knives, well, I guess particularly bone knives, have lighter areas on the sides near the bolsters because it's just part of the hafting process that they polish the sides to get it to fit with the bolsters. But I do really like the look of this. One thing is that the fit of the shield is a little better on this cherry one than on the others as far as I've seen. But the quality, the construction of these overall has been really, really great. I've gotten, several of these so far, including these 3, and they've all been pretty much impeccably made. The only thing that I've seen is some of them have a little bit of gaps between the sides of the shield and the actual handle material or cover material. And that's something that you see pretty frequently, to be honest, on GEC knives. Never really huge gaps or anything like that, like you might see on, some queen knives and stuff like that, but some little gaps. And like I said, that's not even really the case on this one. Now, all of these that I've gotten have had pretty much perfect back springs. I haven't had a single gap on any of these. And I'll show you all 3 here just to show how well fitted these back springs are. No gaps whatsoever. Another thing is that these have all had, look at that, that's just really, really cleanly put together. Really nice. All of these have had well-centered blades. I've had no issues with blade centering at all, really. And I haven't had any that had truly proud tips. Now, some of them have been higher than others. Most of them have been about like this. So you can see that it's pretty close to it, but because of the shape of this spear point blade and the shape of this teardrop, I can't catch a finger on it, really. I can't catch my finger on the tip there, but it is a little close. Now, this one is a little bit less close. You can see that it sits a little deeper. And then the cherry bone is much deeper. So it really sits down within that frame. And I actually like that. If I watch my videos, probably that I really dislike proud tips when the tip sits above the frame or close to it. And so I do like that, but I was a little concerned when I got this one that it might have blade wrap because of it. When on the most recent run of 85s before this, I got one of the banana bone ones, and I don't think it had blade wrap, but because of how it sat, I was a little bit afraid that it did. I don't think it did. I can't really remember, to be honest, but my friend got one of these, and his has blade wrap. His sat, when I looked at his, I was like, wow, that blade sits lower than on mine. And it turned out, after a few days of carrying it, that it did have blade wrap. So, something you have to kind of find the right balance, and usually they do find a good balance. But on this one, I have checked quite a bit since getting it, and I don't think that it does have any blade wrap. And the reason for that, I think, and I'll snap it closed, and then feel the edge here, and I don't feel any blade wrap. The reason for that, I think, is because the pull on this one, the cherry bone one, is much, much lighter than the other pulls. So I would call this pull like a 4, maybe even a little less, maybe like a 3.5, something like that. It's pretty light. I mean, you can see it's snappy, but, and again, I'll feel this, no blade wrap. It is snappy, but it is much lighter than the other ones, probably like a 3.5 or 4, something like that. These ones, on the other hand, all of the other ones I've had were more like a 6. So this blade, 5.5 to 6, something like that. This one, definitely a 6, without a doubt, maybe even a 6.5. So all of them that I've seen and have had stronger pulls than this one does. They've had something like a 6 on the main blades. And they also all, including the cherry bone, seem to have a stronger pull on the cap lifter. So I don't know if that's intentional or not, but they definitely seem to have a stronger pull. This cap lifter is a solid 7, I'd say. Pretty strong pull. This one, again, like a 7, pretty strong pull. And then this one is a little lighter for sure. This is more like a 5. So, it seems the main thing across the board is that the cap lifter has a stronger pull than the main blade. Even though this one has a weaker pull across the board than these ones and the other ones I've had. So interesting little thing here with this one is that it has lighter pulls, but they all do seem to have tougher pulls on the Crownlifter or bottle opener or whatever you want to call it. But they're all made really well. I'm really happy that this one doesn't have blade wrap. And I do like crown lifters or bottle openers. I'll show you a couple of knives from GEC that also have bottle openers. One of my favorites here is the Texas Camp knife. This is an interesting one in that it has a combination can opener and bottle opener, and it works really well. I've used this a lot. So one I really like, and I actually have these GECs with bottle openers on a display right now because I think they're all pretty cool. Another example of a GEC with a bottle opener is this knife. This is the Beer and Sausage number 35, which has a nice fork and bottle opener, so you can eat your sausage, I guess. And then one of the most well-known GECs probably is the Beer Scout knife with the pretty much the same bottle opener. And I'll show you the difference here. Actually, there's a little difference in how these are designed. You can see that the bottle opener on the Beer Scout is a little longer and a little more slender. So just a little difference, but the same idea, both the same tools. They have a bottle opener and a screwdriver. If you do use the screwdriver on these, I don't think a whole lot of people probably are, but if you do, definitely I suggest holding it on the blade rather than holding the knife. I mean, if you're going to use it however you like, but that'll make it less likely to create blade play there. So just something to think about. There have been other GEC knives with bottle openers. I posted a picture of my display and on the Gradation Cutlery Club and completely forgot about a knife that I actually have owned and wish I still did own, which was they did a number 65 pattern fish knife that had a fish scaler and dehooker and bottle opener. So I kind of like to get one of those. I wish I hadn't gotten rid of the one I had, or maybe they'll make more, who knows. And then also technically the French Kate, I think you can open a bottle with the shoe part, but it doesn't actually have a bottle opener on it, so I don't know that I include that one. But just some other GECs with bottle openers or crown lifters. Another interesting thing from this run of knives is that the blade edge, which I'll give you a better look at here, has this little guy here who is holding the Marilla spring water, and that's something they've used before on crown lifter knives. But you notice that there's nothing on the band on that bottle there. But if you take a look at the both sticker, which is based on the tube, and the tube, the bottle says WRC. And this is something that I have, that Austin at C. Reisner Cutlery asked about, and apparently they didn't tell him either. And I've also asked about, and they said, if you think about the information given, you should be able to figure it out. But I can't figure it out. I guess I'm not that good at riddles. They also said that they would neither confirm nor deny any guesses that I had. So it seems a little mysterious. Like I've mentioned in other videos about GEC, they certainly are fond of doing quirky things, and it's part of what I think people love about them, including part of what I love about their knives and the company. But I can't figure it out. I've thought about it, a little bit, and if you figure it out or have a guess, I would love to hear your guess. But yeah, for me, I've kind of come up empty with even really guesses that make any sense. So I'd love to hear your guesses, but that's just another kind of quirky little thing on this run of knives. And it's a run of knives that I've enjoyed. They've gone really quickly, and I just think that's the way it is for GEC now. I know that they have said that they're trying to make more knives so that they can sit at dealers' shelves for longer, but so far, I think that they've had some challenges with logistics, getting materials and stuff due to COVID and other challenges, and I hope that those challenges aren't hurting them too much and stopping them from doing what they want to do, because certainly that would be cool if they could make enough knives that you don't have to either wait on people's sites and follow all of the dealers on mostly on emails, and follow some on social media and all that kind of stuff. And if you're interested in how to buy these knives, I do have a full video and article on it, which you can check out. But also, just to give you a quick rundown, get on the email newsletters for all of the dealers, okay? Second, for the dealers who don't have an email newsletter and don't do drops, you can email them directly as soon as you hear about a knife coming out that you want to get. Third, you can do the drops. So a lot of the companies, the dealers that do drops, have the email newsletters. DLT Trading, GP Knives, the Knife Connection, Old Town Cutlery, I think, Knife Ship Free, they all do drops. So you want to get on their email list so you know when they're coming. Another way to do it is reserves. Blue Creek Cutlery, JSR Sports, and more. I think Boss Steel Blades all do reserves, and you can email them directly to get on the reserve list for them. And then some, like Collector Knives, have their own system. Collector Knives and Traditional Pocket Knives. Collector Knives does a system of reserves through their site, but notifies you via an app called Telegram. And then Traditional Pocket Knives has been doing a lottery to randomly choose who can buy one through their site. So if you want to get these knives from GEC, it's a little too late on these ones particularly, but for the future runs of knives, that's how you should do it, to give you the real quick rundown. And the reason I do that in this video is because these have gone really, really quickly. I mean, it just, I keep thinking that maybe it'll slow down a little bit. Maybe people will, not have to, feel disappointed and stuff like that. But that's part of it. I mean, when you want to get one of these knives, you have to kind of try, and it might be disappointing. You might not get them, but hopefully that's helpful to help you get them if you are interested in them. They are really beautiful knives, and they're something I enjoy collecting and using for a lot of them. And I hope people can get the ones they want, and I hope that my videos and stuff are helpful. But I just wanted to do a video of an overview of this run of knives. Again, all three versions, and I think that they've all been really, really well made. And I like them all. I really like the look of the micarta on this run of knives. The Dead Skunk acrylic is just like weirdly cool. And then this cherry natural bone is, I think, really classic looking. It reminds me of like cherry Coke, or there's a drink, I forget exactly what it's called. It's like maybe Cherokee something that people drink where I'm from, and it reminds me of that. So just all really well made, cool knives, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, go ahead and hit the like button. Also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you know when I post new videos. Also check out my Instagram and Facebook at Knife Thoughts, and my website knifethoughts.com. I have been, sometimes I sell knives because I really just financially can't keep all the knives I get. I like to get them so that I can see them and decide which ones I want to keep and do videos, but I can't keep all of them. So I do sell some knives, and I have been selling them on my site some recently. So, definitely keep an eye out on the site for that, as well as for articles and stuff like that. And last but not least, don't forget to go out and do good.